Hey guys, this is to conclude the video that we did earlier on the live, reading the court transcripts with George Kaplan. George Kaplan on this part of the video is basically on direct cross with Agnifilo. And in this part, you're going to see something very interesting. You're going to notice the questioning that Agnifilo is making, but also notice Agnifilo is really great at flipping things in terms of what is said and what is being done. I mean, I guess that's what attorneys do. They flip things. But listen to how he responds and how Agnifilo is asking the questions. If you have not watched the first video, which was the live that we did on this specific, on George Kaplan's testimony, you need to watch it. It's in the description box. I suggest you do because you're going to feel a little lost. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You guys were like a team. You were like a family. The executive team was a team. Did you guys sometimes talk about yourselves as the Combs Enterprise family? Was the word family ever used, or if it wasn't, it wasn't. I don't remember that word being used. That's fine. Now I have a few more questions, specific questions for you, and we'll let you go. Sure. You said you had a corporate credit card, correct? You used it for virtually all purchases, correct? I used it any time I was working. Now, you don't know how. Were you involved in going through the credit card statements and figuring out this is a business and this is not a business? You didn't do that. No. And do you know who did? No. So if you had to make a purchase for something while you were working, you used a corporate credit card? Correct. Now, in your experience with Mr. Combs does not, tell me if this is right, pay for things like himself in that moment. That's right. So in other words, it's not as though you and Mr. Combs are going to be someplace and you guys get lunch together. Mr. Combs gets a bill and writes a check, or no, definitely not. Tell us how it worked from what you could see. Well, ideally, so Christina, one of his assistants, would have his wallet, which was a wallet with a black Amex and a license. And that was it, which was awesome. And ideally, he would have the black credit card, and that would just take care of anything for him. I would use my credit card if I was alone or if I didn't have the black card. And while you were with Mr. Combs, did he do things like lease yachts or lease villas and things like that? Yeah. And from what you could see, how was that kind of arranged and paid for? There was at least one person, if not multiple people, in his office whose job was to handle his travel. So he was making multiple tens of thousands dollars, purchases, rentals, leases, things like that. Yes. You have no reason to think that he's keeping track of baby oil purchases, right? Definitely not. No. That's just not whether a baby oil gets purchased at Duane Reade or CVS. You have no reason to think Mr. Combs has the vaguest idea about that. Not at all. It just needed to be there when it needed to be there. And the same is true with, did he like apples? Do you remember applesauce being a thing? I do. Tell the jury what you remember about applesauce. Mr. Combs loves applesauce. He eats it on the side or on top of a lot of things. Cheeseburgers being one of them. And he just didn't keep track of the applesauce, right? He kept track of what he was focusing on any given moment in that day. I mentioned how, like, my world was really small and it got bigger and bigger. His world was the size of the earth. Like, he knew people who was doing things with them for business and whatever, literally around the world. So frankly, to think that he knew where some of these things were coming from was unrealistic. I want to talk about the incident on the airplane for a second that you told the jury about. Do you see Cassie with any physical injuries? Not that I remember. You said that it looks like Rock's glasses were being thrown. You heard them breaking? Yeah, and he was holding one. And that's, Cassie was saying, isn't anyone seeing this or something along those lines? Yeah. Then you heard glass breaking. Okay. And I think, and tell me if this is right, you would have seen Cassie later that evening, right? Because you brought her to the club premiere. Yes. And so how much time would you have spent with her to bring her to the club from your ballpark? 5, 7 minutes? Would you have been in close proximity to her? Yes. Did you see any injuries to her? Not at that time, no. Not at that time. I mean, so I know you're talking about another time, but I'm going to get to that time in a second. I did not see her injured. She was not. No. That's later that same day, right? Yes. And you agree with me. You're in close contact with her, a few feet away from her, correct? Yes. For about a 5 minute period of time or so, right? Correct. Bringing her to the club, right? No injuries to her face, no injuries that you could see. Correct. Now, you said that there was another time where you didn't see what happened, but this is the time Mr. Combs asked to go out and get things, including witch hazel. Correct. You said that she had a little bruise on her forehead type thing. Correct. And she was crying. Yeah, she was. She wasn't sobbing. She was sort of whimpering. Okay. And I have no reason to dispute that something may have happened. But whatever happened, objection from the government. Objection to commentary, Your Honor. You didn't see it. I did not see it. Now, the incident with Gina, and tell me if this is right. This is at the Miami house? Do me a favor. You have to answer yes or no. Yes. So you walk into the house, right? The front door, you walk in the house, and tell me if you remember. There's a little, like, kind of like a thin table, like in front of you. You come in. I don't remember. You said that there were apples, either real apples or decorative apples. You don't know which? Correct. But green apples. Things that look like green apples. Correct. In like a decorative holder or container or something? Yeah. I've been referring to it as a four-legged cauldron. That's not really the right way of putting it, but it was this huge bowl on 4 legs. It was made out of stone. That's a bowl? Yeah. And these decorative apples, real or fake, are in the bowl. Correct. Probably 50. And Mr. Combs is throwing the apples hard at Gina, correct? Uh huh. Correct, yes. And they're all in the same area? Is this like the entrance area in the Miami house? Yes. So Gina's there, Mr. Combs is there, and you're there. Yes. Is anybody else there? I don't remember. You don't have any recollection of anyone else being there with the three of you. I don't. Okay, fair enough. And he's throwing these apples at Gina. Correct. Can you tell me if the apples are hitting her? No. I don't remember if they were. I don't know if I could tell you at the time, but I don't remember. And I remember her going away and covering herself. She's trying to avoid getting hit by the apples. But you don't have a recollection one way or another as to whether any of the apples actually struck her? Correct. Now let's go later that same night. I am right when you talk about the gate. Mm-hmm. So when you leave the Miami house, okay, you walk out, there's some distance, some fairly considerable distance, and then there are these two large gates that separate the road from the house. Yes. And the gates are typically in close position. Yes. And one of the things you're not sure of all these years later is whether the gates could be opened by some kind of a button or device on the inside of the gate. Correct. You just don't remember one way or the other? Correct. Or or whether to get the gates to open, you would have to alert someone who has whatever control mechanism is required to open the gate. Yes. And could you hear what Gina was saying? No. Okay, you could not. I just heard screaming and commotion. When you say screaming, and I don't know if you can differentiate, but I'll ask you to, if you can, is it screams of terror or screams of, can someone open this gate? I don't know how to differentiate the two. Okay, okay. I mean, and it's nighttime? Yes. The middle of the night? Yes, the middle of the night. And so if no one, and do you know where security goes in the middle of the night if there's not, let me ask you a different question. Do you know where security goes in the middle of the night? Okay, some of them slept in the guest house that I was in. If they were sleeping, someone would have to alert them to open the gate, unless there was a button, which you don't remember. Correct. And other than the screaming, there was no other event at the gate? There was no physical event at the gate? Correct. I think you've talked on direct examination about a few things that Mr. Combs did. You know, he yelled at you, right? Okay. Do me a favor. You have to say yes or no. Yes. I think you said he threatened your job from time to time. He did. He never threatened you physically, did he? No. Did you ever hear him threaten Cassie physically? Can you, other than, the event on the plane, which he was angry and throwing things, did he ever physically threaten Cassie in your presence, to your recollection? I'm sorry. Physically threatening, meaning like saying, I'm going to hurt you, type of thing, like physically, is that what that means? Among other things. Yeah, no. Now you said you talk about Kim Porter to a certain extent, okay? Now that you talked about, I think you said Kim Porter was a very important person that was the mother of several of Mr. Combs' children. And then when my colleague with the government asked you about Cassie, you said Cassie was a girlfriend? Correct. And Gina was a girlfriend? Correct. When the government asked about Kim Porter, you didn't say she was a girlfriend. You said something else. Yeah, she was a special figure to him. I didn't see her as being a girlfriend of his. She was kind of she was vaunted above it. In what sense? From what you could see, his respect of her. You said they had children together, right? Correct. That was the mother of some of his children, correct? Incredible kids. Say it again. Incredible kids. Okay, thank you. Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs did not have children, to your knowledge, correct? Gina and Mr. Combs did not have children, to your knowledge, correct? Miss Porter and Mr. Combs did, correct? And when you say that she was vaunted above a girlfriend, from what you could see, what you could observe with your own two eyes, tell the jury what you saw that led you to that conclusion. Mr. Combs always seemed to have extra gauge of patience with Miss Porter. Miss Porter seems to make Mr. Combs really happy, even when he was otherwise not. And again, just the way, and it's not that he was going around treating everybody poorly all the time, but he treated her in a very special manner that just felt different than the way he treated others. Now, I think you said you set up hotel rooms. Actually, I don't know if you did. Did you ever set up hotel rooms for what you understand to be Mr. Combs and Miss Porter? Yes. And when you did that, there was no baby oil, right? No, that's not my recollection. Let me ask you a different thing. Do you remember lotions other than baby oil? Like lotions? Yes. Miss Porter and Mr. Combs, there were lotions, like over-the-counter type of lotions. I'm really asking you if you remember. Yeah, it's coming to me. I remember one time. Yes, lotions. But you said you think that there was baby oil too. Yeah, there was Always baby oil in the bag. I always unpack the whole bag. Got it. I wouldn't have known not to unless somebody said very specifically not to. Meaning, since there was always baby oil in the bag, you always brought the bag to not bring baby oil. Someone would have to say, don't bring baby oil. Or don't pack it. Got it. And you talked on direct examination about cleaning up the hotel room afterwards. Yes. One thing I want to ask you about, and I think you also said, and tell me if this is right, that when Mr. Combs went to these hotel rooms, you yourself would go home for a period of time. Yes, because you weren't working. Correct. So the idea is, tell me if this is right. If Mr. Combs is going out to a business dinner, you're still at work because he's working. Correct. There were two types of, like, you were either on or you were on call. And so if you were on, you were at the house no matter what was going on. Hotels were generally an on-call situation. So I want to know about the difference. So on means you are at the house or at some place doing work, correct? Yeah. Yes, correct. So if Mr. Combs had a business meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you were on, correct? And if Mr. Combs had a business dinner and had to go to work after it, you are on, correct? If Mr. Combs was having a lunch with a recording executive, you were on, correct? And when Mr. Combs went to these hotels, you weren't on, you were on call, correct? And you understood from your job description that this was his personal time, yes. Now, am I right that from what you could see in these hotel rooms, when you could sometimes tidy them up afterwards, there was baby oil on things and on the floor, correct? Correct. You never saw physical damage to furniture or to the room itself. Not that I recall. I should have asked a better question. Physical damage meaning broken chairs, lamps broken, things broken, not things with baby oil on them. Not that I recall. And I think you said yesterday at one point, I think the prosecutors asked, well, how come you cleaned them up, the rooms? How come you didn't let the hotel do it? And I remember your answer. Your answer was something you were worried that the hotel would release pictures or release something to embarrass Mr. Combs. Correct. And that was a worry that you had. Absolutely. Because in your experience, well, why was that a worry? Tell the jury why you were worried about that. The most important thing at the end of the day for me about this job was doing it well and being recognized for doing it well. And that's all that I cared about. And obviously in my testimony, you can see how much tunnel vision I had just trying to do a good job and trying to check the box. And this to me was just a continued, example of that, trying to go above and beyond. It's also the type of thing where you do nothing and nothing happens, fine. But if you do nothing and something happens, I would have a problem. And so trying to protect myself and my employment as well, and just trying to do what I thought was the right thing. So you had some measure of distrust for the hotel staff that they might release something, a large measure of distrust for the hotel staff. Mm-hmm. And why did you have this large measure of distrust for the hotel staff? Because money's involved and people want a payday. If they steal security footage, or if there's a security guard who leaks footage, or any number of permutations that could be like, that would have been severely compromised, and it would have been a terrible look on me. And it's also not what I wanted. I didn't want his reputation to be compromised. You think that would be unfair? I think that's the way the world works. I mean, you use the word payday to like sell the video or the imagery to a news outlet in exchange for money as a hotel employee. A couple more questions. I'm going to keep saying that. We're almost done. We really are. It's all right. You said at one point the security kind of changed over. And they went from sort of having a less professional security staff to a more professional security staff. Correct? Correct. And when about was that? It was in 2015. I want to say the spring because we started traveling with the security in the last months that I was working there. And when the more professional staff came on, you understood this was a security company that Mr. Combs hired. Correct. So he essentially outsourced his and his family's and his property security to a company, correct? Yes. And after the company made decisions on how to try and keep him and his family and his property safe, right? Yes. And you said that you believe they had license to carry firearms? That was my understanding. And you never saw the security staff, the old security staff or the new security staff with firearms one way or the other? The new security staff, I did. The old, I did not. The old did not? Correct. So you never saw them with guns. Correct. You never saw Mr. Combs with a gun. No. So the old security staff was D-Rock. Yeah, he was a member. Uncle Polly. Yes, sir. Let me just stop on Uncle Polly for a second. Let me go through everyone. There's D-Rock, Uncle Polly. Who else do you remember? Rube. Okay. Anybody else? No. When you saw Mr. Combs throwing apples at Gina, did you tell security about it? I don't remember. So you have no recollection of telling anybody in security about the apples? No. I want to show you a couple of photographs. We're going to start with the Defense Exhibit 406 for identification. For the witness at the moment, this is a message from yourself to Mr. Combs on November 16, 2018. Do you see that there? Yes, sir. And do you recognize who's in the photograph? Yes, sir. Who's that? Miss Porter and her friend. Agnifilo speaks. Your Honor, we offer. Exhibits are offered. Exhibits are admitted to the court. Miss Porter is the woman on the second horse, on the whiter horse. Correct. She's in the back. And you sent this soon after Miss Porter passed away. A couple of days, in fact, okay? And you write, and what you write is P, no possible word. RN. Right now? Right now. Sorry. So not going to reach, but I'm so sorry and sending you all my condolences. My thoughts are with you and the kids, wishing you immense strength. Please hang on there. Love you. Yes. You sent him this after Miss Porter passed away? Yes. Because of why? I was heartbroken for him. And I think you said that in addition to this occasion, you stayed in touch with him through the years. Yes. If things happen in your life, sometimes you'll send him a text and say, this happened to me. Yeah. I invited him to my wedding. I did not hear back. And I told him when I had a baby. I think what you said when Miss Comey was asking you questions is you have and had great respect for him. Yes. You still do? Yes. What you saw him do offended you, correct? Yes, it did. It offended you so much because it made you leave your dream job. Yeah, it shook me tremendously. And yet you still, as you sit here today on the witness stand of this trial, you have respect for him? Yeah, I'd say that it's a complicated relationship at this point. I think I have a lot of complicated relationships in my life, and I think this perhaps falls into that bucket. And based on what you said, what you saw, and what your experience was with them, that's why you have respect for him, correct? Yeah. The way the time we spent together, the things that he taught me, and the way that I observe him in most cases, yes. I want to show you another photograph. If I walk back to the table, I'm going to have another question for you every time. I'm going to ask the witness to be shown exhibit 404 for identification. This is a text exchange between you and Mr. Combs and KK. Do you see that? It would be on the page on the left. Yup. And there's a photograph there, right? Yes. Who's in that photograph? Christina Quorum and Mr. Combs. And who else? Myself. Okay. Agnifilo offers more 404 for exhibits. Government has no objection. Court enters it into exhibit. Show it to the jury. Can we blow up the photo? KK is the woman on the right, Mr. Combs in the middle, and you on the left, yeah? She's on my left. I'm on my right, but yeah. Any idea where you are? We're at Teterboro Airport. This is the day that Mr. Combs got his private jet. That he actually got the private jet? Correct. That's what the champagne was for. Got it. So tell me, if this is right, it was a difficult job, right? Right. You saw things that offended you, right? You had a lot of fun, right? No, that is not right. No, I wouldn't say that. You're having fun there? Is that what you see on that facial expression? I'm not sure. What do you see on your facial expression? I see a kid who, thank God, found the mascara in the back of the seat of that car. Fair enough. And you learned a lot, right? I learned an incredible amount. You said that he not only showed you kind of like all you can be, he showed you things you didn't even know you could be, right? Yes, that is correct. And you didn't want to come here today, right? I desperately did not want to come here today because you have nothing against Sean Combs, right? Correct. And you are here, and you tell me if this is right. Do you feel like you were forced to be here? I was subpoenaed to be here. You could not say no, correct? And so you would rather not be testifying at this trial? 100%. And you are here because the government subpoenaed you, right? Correct. You never reached out to the government to say, I have information about Sean Combs and I'm dying to give you folks, right? Absolutely not. They found you. Correct. Once they found you, they were going to put you on that stand, right? Yeah, I was hosed. I had to retain counsel immediately. I have no other questions for you. I really want to thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Miss Comey, all right? We are now at redirect, and Miss Comey is for the government. Mr. Kaplan, do you remember being asked on cross-examination about the incident you observed on the plane involving Mr. Combs being violent towards Cassie? Yes. And you testified on cross-examination just now that what you saw more generally shook you tremendously. I want to understand which incidences you're referring to that shook you tremendously. The plane incident and the Apple incident? Let's talk about both of those. The plane incident, you testified on cross-examination that you did not observe Cassie have any injuries as a result. Do you remember that? Correct. Why did this incident shake you tremendously if you did not see Cassie suffer any injuries? Because in my heart of hearts, I told myself I knew what happened, what was happening. And I also definitely felt an element of guilt to not be stopping it. Why did you think you needed to stop it if she wasn't having visible injuries? Because people can be injured all the time without the injuries being visible. And when the Apple incident, I believe you testified on cross-examination that you did not see any of the apples hit Gina. Do you remember? Do you remember that? Correct. Why did the incident shake you tremendously if none of the apples hit Gina? The tension and the anger in the room was crazy, and I never seen or been a part of anything like that. I was naive enough to think that there were like hyperbolized moments that happened in bad movies or something. So I was really taken aback, and it took me a while to process. What was scary about it? The tonality, the tension, the fact that it was happening at all. And finally, do you remember being asked about the conversation you had the next day with Christina Cora? Yes. Did you tell her about both of these incidences during the conversation? No. Which incident did you tell her about? The Green Apple incident. And earlier you had told her about the incident on the jet? Yes. And did you tell her that, well, what did you tell her about? Why you had decided to quit working for Mr. Combs during that conversation? I think the words I used were I was unwilling to stand by the behavior. What behavior were you talking about in the context of that conversation with Christina? The green apples and the airplane incident. Did you tell Christina you were going to quit because of that? Yes. Did Christina say that she was going to quit too? No. Did Christina, as far as you know, quit anytime after you left? No. As far as you know, how long did Christina stay working for Mr. Combs after you told her about these two incidents that shook you tremendously? I haven't spoken to her in a while, but my understanding was that she was working for him up until pretty recently. No further questions, Your Honor. The court thanks the government. Any further questions, Mr. Agnifilo? Mr. Agnifilo responds, I don't. Okay, Mr. Kaplan, thank you very much. Thank you, Your Honor. And that is when the government excuses George Kaplan and calls in Kid Cudi. This was the statement and direct examination of George Kaplan. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you watch the first part of this. We did the live earlier. The video will be linked in the description box if you missed the first live on the read on this. In every video that has a court transcript read is going to say court transcripts on the thumbnail. That's how you know how to follow along. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Shout out to you guys for watching. Shout out to everybody on the replay gang and the chat. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next court transcript or the next video. Bye, guys.